It is 11:47 on a Tuesday night in Brooklyn, and you are about to do nothing. Again. The studio apartment is small enough that you can see all of it from the bed, the kitchenette with its single working burner, the desk you bought used for $90, the window that looks out at the brick wall of the building next door. The radiator clanks once and goes quiet. On the desk, a takeout container of pad thai is cooling next to a wine glass with 3 swallows left in it. The laptop screen is the only real light in the room, and it is throwing a pale blue rectangle onto the ceiling that wobbles when you breathe. The Chase app is open on your phone. Checking account, $4,237. Savings, $11,000 and change, earning 0.01% interest, which is to say, earning the kind of nothing that is not even a number, just a polite gesture from a bank that does not respect you. On the laptop, in another tab, Fidelity. You opened the account 14 months ago. You have not funded it. The cursor is blinking on a button that says, Begin Investing, and you have been looking at that button, on and off, for about an hour. You will not press it tonight. You already know that. You have known it since you sat down. The whole evening has been a performance for an audience of one, a small ritual of considering, of being someone who is almost ready, of standing at the edge of a thing without ever stepping off. Your name is Amira Khalid. You are 29 years old. You make $71,000 a year as a project manager at a mid-sized marketing firm in Manhattan. You went to a good college on a partial scholarship, and you graduated with $22,000 in loans, and you paid them off 2 years ago, and you remember thinking, when the last payment cleared, that something was supposed to feel different now. It did not. The number went away, and another quiet took its place. I am Wes Calder. I am the one telling you this. I sat across from Amira 2 years after this Tuesday night, in a coffee shop on Atlantic Avenue, and she told me about the cursor, and the takeout, and the radiator. She told me about the 18 months that came after, and the morning that finally cracked it open. And she said something I have not stopped thinking about. She said, I was the most prepared person I knew. I was also the poorest one in the room I belonged in. This is her story, but the way I am going to tell it, you are going to be her. Because the truth of this thing is not in what happened to her. The truth is in the small, polite, reasonable-sounding voice in your head that has been telling you the same thing it told her. That voice has a name. We are going to learn it. For now, it is 11:47 and you are sitting on the edge of your bed and the cursor is blinking and you do not press the button. You close the laptop. You drink the last 3 said the same things. They never were. But they share a word, and the word is doing all the work, and you do not hear it doing the work because you are the one saying it. This is how level 3 begins, not with a crash, with a vocabulary drift. It is March now, 4 months since the Tuesday with the cursor. The rent on your apartment goes up $180 when you re-sign the lease, because that is what New York does, and you do not move because moving costs more than staying, and you absorb the $180 the way you absorb everything, quietly, competently, without complaint. You make a new line in the spreadsheet. You adjust the grocery budget down by $43 a week. You stop getting the oat milk lattes on Wednesdays. You tell yourself this is fine. This is, in fact, fine. You are an adult and you are managing. The $4,237 in checking is now $4,410. You got a small raise in February, $2,000 a year, which, after taxes, is about $120 a month, and the money has nowhere to go, so it sits. The savings account is at $12,000 and change. The Fidelity account is still at 0. The Chase app still shows the cursor. The cursor is still blinking. You read more books. You read Bogle. You read Malkiel. You read a book by a woman named Tori Dunlap that your friend Priya recommends, and you read it on the train, and you nod, and you save 4 passages to a note on your phone called Investing Notes, which now has 41 passages in it. You feel, while reading, the thing that has become familiar, the small, clean feeling, the warm bath, the I am almost ready. You are not almost ready. You have been almost ready for 16 months. Almost ready is a place you live in now. It has a lease. It has a radiator. The radiator clanks. In April, the inflation number comes out, and it is 6.4% for the year. You read about it. You understand what it means. You understand in the abstract that your savings account paying 0.01% is, in real terms, losing about 6.5% of its purchasing power every year. You understand that the $4,237 from the Tuesday in November is now, in what it can actually buy you, somewhere closer to $3,800. You understand this. You do nothing about it. Understanding, you are starting to learn, is not the same thing as doing. They are not even cousins. They live in different countries. In May, your cousin Sana, who lives in Toronto, posts on Instagram. She bought an apartment, a one-bedroom in a building near a transit station. She is 28. She put down $60,000. The caption says, 7 years of saving and a lot of help from Amma and Abu, but it is mine. There is a photo of her holding the keys. There are 147 likes. You like the post. You comment a heart. You close the app and you sit on your bed and you feel, for the first time in a long time, something that is not the small, clean feeling. It is something rougher. You do not have a name for it yet. It is not envy, exactly, because you love Sana and you are happy for her. It is closer to a kind of vertigo, the feeling of standing on a moving walkway and realizing that everyone else has been walking on it while you have only been standing. You push the feeling down. You make tea. You open the laptop. You open Fidelity. You look at the cursor. You close the laptop. This is level 3, the level of the small leaks, the level where reality starts to seep in around the edges of the story you are telling yourself, and you patch the leaks with more story, more research, more almost ready. You do not see, yet, that the leaks are not the problem. The leaks are the truth trying to get in. Months go by. The months are not interesting. That is the point. Level 3 is mostly boring. Level 3 is mostly the texture of being okay, of being responsible, of being the daughter your father is proud of being the friend Priya admires, of being the project manager whose Friday recap goes out at 4:58. Level 3 is the level where you do not notice that your life has been quietly narrowing for almost 2 years. Each individual narrowing is small. None of them, by itself, would alarm you. But they are stacking. The cumulative inflation from the Tuesday in November to the day this changes, the day in May of the next year when everything cracks is, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, approximately 11.4%. Your money has lost more than a tenth of its real value while you are reading about how to invest it. You do not know that number yet. You will know it soon. You will know it because of Devon. Devon Park is your friend. He has been your friend since you were both 23, and you both worked at a small agency in the Flatiron, in an office that smelled like burnt coffee and the perfume of a woman who quit before either of you was hired. He left that agency 2 years before you did. He is 29 now, the same age as you. He works at a bigger firm in Midtown. He makes $73,000 a year, $2,000 more than you. He lives in a one-bedroom in Astoria with his boyfriend, who is a teacher. You meet Devon for brunch on a Saturday in May. The brunch place is the kind of brunch place where the eggs are $16. He orders the eggs. You order coffee and a side of toast because you are saving money for the down payment you are not really saving for in the savings account that is losing 6.5% of its purchasing power every year in service of a future you have not actually started building. Devon is in a good mood. He is in a good mood because his portfolio crossed $60,000 the day before. He tells you this casually, the way he tells you about the new bakery near his apartment. He is not bragging. Devon does not brag. He is just telling you what is going on in his life. You say, wait, 60,000 in your, investment account? He says, yeah, 61.4. I checked yesterday. You feel a small thing happen in your chest, a pressure shift, like a door has opened in another room. You say, how did you do that? We make the same money. He looks at you. He is not unkind. Devon is one of the kindest people you know, but he looks at you the way a person looks at someone they have known for 6 years and have never quite been able to say the thing to. And he says, "Amira, I started at 24. I just put $300 a month into a target date fund. That is it. That is the whole thing." You do the math in your head. $300 a month for 5 years. $18,000 of his own money. The other $43,000 and change is the market. Compounding. Doing the thing the books told you it would do. Doing it for him because he showed up. Not doing it for you because you did not. You ask him, very carefully, "What if there had been a crash?" He shrugs. He says, "There was. 2022. My account dropped about 19%. I just kept buying. It came back. They always come back." You sit with that for a long moment. The coffee in front of you is going cold. The eggs in front of him are going cold. He is looking at you with something that is starting to look, for the first time in your friendship, like worry. He says, "Are you not investing?" You say, "I am researching." He says, and this is the sentence that does it. This is the sentence that you will think about every day for the next 16 months and then for the rest of your life. He says, "Amira, there is no amount of research that is going to do what time does." The waiter comes and asks if you want anything else. You say no. Devon says no. The waiter goes away. The brunch place is loud around you, and the loudness becomes a kind of silence, the way loudness does when something is happening inside you that has nothing to do with sound. You are at level 4 now. You did not choose to be. You did not see it coming. Level 4 is not a level you walk into. It is a level that opens up underneath you. You are doing the math in your head, and the math is not going away. $300 a month at 9% average return over the 5 years you have not been investing. The compound interest formula. Future value of an annuity. You learned this in the books. You learned it with the small, clean feeling. You can do it now without a calculator. $22,627. That is what you would have. That is the number on the other side of the door you did not walk through. That is the apartment Sana bought minus $37,000 and change. That is the difference between standing on the moving walkway and walking on it. That is what your carefulness cost you in the only currency the universe actually accepts, which is time, denominated in dollars. You go home. You take the Q train. You stand because the seats are taken. You do not read. You look at the floor of the train. Your phone is in your hand and the screen is dark. You see your own face in the dark glass. You do not look careful in the reflection. You look tired. You look like a person who has been running very hard for a very long time and has just looked up and realized she has been running on a treadmill. That night you do something you have not done before. You open a spreadsheet, a new one. You title it, with a kind of grim honesty you are surprised to find in yourself, Fear Ledger. You write in the first column, every month from November of the year you sat with the cursor until this Saturday in May. You write in the second column what the S&P 500 did in each of those months. You write in the third column what $300 invested at the start of each month would now be worth. You add it up. You sit with the number, $18,440. That is the version of you that started, the version of you that did not. That is the gap between Amira who clicked and Amira who researched. $18,440 in 18 months. About $1,025 a month on average in opportunity cost. Money you did not lose to a market crash. Money you did not lose to a scammer. Money you did not lose to a bad pick. Money you lost to not pressing the button. The Kahneman paper is open in another tab. You read it again. The phrase that sticks now is the one you skipped over the first 9 times. Losses loom larger than gains. You feel a loss roughly twice as much as you feel an equivalent gain. This is hardwired. This is not a flaw you have. This is a flaw the species has. This is why you did not press the button. Not because you were stupid, not because you were lazy. Because you are a human being, and the part of your brain that runs the show is not the part that read the books. The part that runs the show is the part that watched your father drive a cab for 6 years and concluded that the safe thing was the bank. Your father was not wrong for 1998. Your father is wrong for now. The world he survived in is not the world you are living in. The bank he trusted is paying you 0.1%, while the dollar in your hand quietly decays. The casino he warned you about is, if you give it 30 years and do not flinch, the most reliable wealth-building machine human beings have ever built. He could not have known this. You know this. The knowing is the thing that ends level 3. You sit at the desk you bought used for $90. The radiator clanks. It is 2:14 in the morning. The kitchen tile is cold under your bare feet. You are wearing the t-shirt you sleep in, the one with the small hole near the hem. Your laptop is open, and the Fear Ledger spreadsheet is on the screen, and the number 18440 is staring at you, and you are staring at it, and neither of you is going to look away first. You say it out loud in the quiet apartment because you need to hear yourself say it. You say, "I was never being careful. I was being scared." The sentence comes out flat. You expected it to feel more like a revelation. It feels, instead, like a bill you have been receiving for 18 months and finally opened. You say it again. "I was never being careful. I was being scared." The market does not care that you are afraid. The market does not care that you are now finally not afraid. The market is the market. It opens at 9:30. It closes at 4. It does the thing it does. The only question that has ever mattered is whether you are in it or you are watching it. You close the spreadsheet. You do not press the button tonight either. But this not pressing is different. This is the not pressing of someone who has stopped pretending. You are not researching anymore. You are just sitting with it, sitting with the weight, sitting with the number, sitting with the version of yourself that you are about to have to bury. This is level 5, the level of waiting, the level of knowing, the level of the kitchen tile at 2 in the morning, and the small hole in the hem of the t-shirt, and the radiator clanking, and the cursor not blinking because the laptop is closed now, finally, mercifully closed. You sit there until almost 3. You do not cry. You thought you might. You do not. You just sit. The grief, when it finally comes, is not the grief of losing money. It is the grief of losing the version of yourself you have spent 18 months being. The careful one. The smart one. The good daughter. The one Priya admires. That woman is going to have to die for the next one to live. You did not know until this moment that it would feel like a death. You go to bed at 3:11. You set the alarm for 9. It is Sunday. There is no work. You sleep without dreams. You already know. You get up. You make coffee. You do not check your phone. You do not read an article. You do not open a book. You sit at the desk with the coffee and you open the laptop and you go to Fidelity and you log in and the cursor is still there, blinking on the button that says Begin Investing. And you look at it for one more second, the last second of the version of you that did not, and then you press it. You press it at 9:08 on a Saturday morning. You buy $500 of VTI. The total US stock market in one ticker, the way Bogle taught you, the way the books told you, the way the small, clean feeling promised you would someday do. The page loads. The order goes through. The confirmation email arrives in your inbox 11 seconds later. You have, as of 9:08 and 11 seconds on this Saturday in May, become an investor. Nothing happens. The radiator does not clank. The phone does not ring. Your father does not appear in the doorway to tell you you have made a mistake. The market does not crash. The market, in fact, is closed. It is Saturday. The thing you have been afraid of for 18 months turns out to have been, on the other side of the click, a very small button on a very ordinary website on a very quiet morning in a small apartment in Brooklyn. The mountain you could not climb was a curb. You sit there for a while. You feel, instead of the relief you expected, something stranger. a kind of tenderness toward the woman who could not press the button. She was not an idiot. She was not lazy. She was a person whose nervous system had been trained by every story it had ever heard to treat action as danger. She did the best she could with what she had been given. She just had not been given enough. You close the laptop, you finish the coffee, you go for a walk. You walk all the way to the promenade and you look at the water and the bridge and the city is doing what the city does, which is being too much and too loud and too expensive and exactly the right place to be. And you stand there for a long time, and you do not feel triumphant, and you do not feel sad, and you feel, mostly, awake. This is level 6, the level of action, the level of the click, the level of the very small thing that turns out to be the very large thing. You set up the recurring transfer that night, $300 a month into VTI every first of the month, automated, removed from the part of your brain that confuses caution with wisdom, and given to the part of the universe that does not care how you feel about it. You will not touch the button again for 13 months. You will not need to. The button will press itself on the first of every month while you sleep. It is May, 2 years later. You are 31 years old. You are in the same coffee shop on Atlantic Avenue where I will later sit across from you and listen to all of this. You are alone. You have a coffee. You have your phone. You open the Fidelity app the way other people open Instagram, without thinking, out of a small, low-grade, pleasant habit. The number on the home screen is $26,440. Most of it is the money you put in. Some of it is the market doing what the market does. None of it is exciting. None of it should be. The whole point, you understand now, is that it is not exciting. The whole point is that it is boring, and the boring is the wealth, and the wealth is the boring. You think about Devon. He is at almost 90,000 now. He started 7 years before you. You will never catch him. You also do not need to. The race you thought you were in was never the race. The race was always between the version of you who would invest and the version of you who would research forever. And the version who would invest finally beat the version who would research. And that is the only race that ever mattered. You think about Priya. Priya still does not invest. She still calls you the careful one. You have tried, gently, to tell her what you learned. She nods. She saves the article you send. She does not press the button. You understand now that you cannot press it for her. The button is hers. It will always be hers. You can only point at yours. You think about your father. You have not told him about the account. You will not, probably. He does not need to know. He worked too hard for too long to have his picture of safety rearranged by his daughter at a brunch she did not pay for. You let him have his bank. You have your VTI. The two of you love each other in the languages you each can speak. That is enough. You think, finally, about the woman at the desk at 2:14 in the morning in the t-shirt with the small hole in the hem. You think about her with something like gratitude. She was the one who finally opened the bill. She was the one who finally said it out loud. She is the reason you are sitting in this coffee shop with a phone that says $26,440 and a future that is not anymore a thing you are watching other people walk into. Here is what I, Wes Calder, want you to know. Here is what Amira told me. On the afternoon, she slid the phone across the table and showed me the chart, the thing she said she wished someone had told her at 27. The market does not care that you are afraid. It does not care if you are smart. It does not care if you have read the books. It does not care if your father drove a cab, or your mother cleaned houses, or your loans took a decade to pay off, or your rent went up $180 in March. It does not care if you are ready. It does not care if you are worthy. It does not care if the timing feels right. The timing will never feel right. The timing has never felt right for anyone. The people who are wealthy are not the people for whom the timing felt right. They are the people who pressed the button when the timing felt wrong, and then pressed it again, and then pressed it again, and then stopped paying attention to the timing entirely because they had figured out, sometimes quickly, more often slowly, almost always painfully, that the timing was a story and the button was a fact, and the fact was the only thing in the room that was actually going to grow. You are sitting somewhere right now. Maybe it is 11:47 on a Tuesday. Maybe the radiator is clanking. Maybe the takeout is going cold. Maybe there is a cursor blinking on a button you have been looking at for an hour, or a month, or 18 months, or 8 years. Maybe the small, clean feeling is in your chest right now, telling you that you are being responsible, that you are doing this right, that you are almost ready. You are not almost ready. You are sitting in level 2, and level 3 is already happening underneath you, and level 4 is coming whether you click or not. The only choice you actually have is whether you meet it as the version of yourself who pressed the button, or as the version who watched her friend Devon's portfolio cross $60,000 at a brunch where she could not afford the eggs. Press it. Nothing happens. Everything begins. The market does not care that you are afraid. That is the good news. That is, in the end, the only good news there is. I am Wes Calder. Next week, I am going to tell you about the portfolio that sleeps, the 4-fund structure Amira built in the year after the click, the one that survived 2022, the one that does not need you to be smart, the one that does not need you to be brave, the one that just needs you, on the first of every month, to not undo the thing you have already done. Until then, press the button. The radiator will clank. The cursor will blink. The morning will be gray. You will press it anyway. That is the whole story. That has always been the whole story.